The dying cyborg's hand grabbed my wrist with enough force to crack bone. Its single, organic eye locked onto mine, and three words escaped its shattered throat that would haunt me forever. They are coming. My name is Dr. Eli Cross. 24 hours ago, I was just another medic aboard the Earth Defense Carrier Vanguard, patching up soldiers and filing reports. Now I'm holding coordinates to a weapon that could either save civilization or end it, and I have absolutely no idea which one it's going to be. The medical ward stank of burnt circuits and alien blood. The creature on my operating table was barely alive, its chrome skeleton fractured like shattered glass, organic tissue melding with metal in ways that defied everything I knew about biology. "Vitals dropping fast," Lieutenant Sarah Vance called from the monitors. She was the one who'd pulled this thing from the wreckage, disobeying 3 direct orders to leave it behind. "Whatever you're doing, do it faster." "I'm working blind here." My laser scalpel trembled. "This physiology doesn't match anything in our database. Half its organs are synthetic, the other half I can't even identify." The cyborg convulsed. Its mouth opened, sounds spilling out that my translator couldn't parse. Sarah moved closer, her sharp features tight with concentration. "Boost the translation matrix. Something's trying to break through." I adjusted the settings. The cyborg's voice emerged, distorted but intelligible. Warn your people." It rasped, each word costing it everything. "The Vorath, they return. Extinction follows." My stomach dropped. The Vorath. Every species in the known galaxy had stories about them. Conquerors from beyond mapped space. Genocidal. Unstoppable. They'd supposedly been pushed back centuries ago, driven into the dark reaches where even starlight couldn't follow. "The Vorath are a myth," I said, but my voice wavered. The cyborg's grip tightened, servos whining. "No myth, coming now. Fleets, armadas, billions will die." Sarah's face had gone pale. "How do we stop them?" The creature's eye began to dim, its systems failing one by one. "Only one way. The Genesis Ark, a weapon from before time, last chance." "Where?" I pressed. "Where is this weapon?" "Encoded in my core memory. Find the Ark before they do, or all is lost." Its eye went dark, the monitors flatlined. I stood there, hands still covered in its strange blood, trying to process what I'd just heard. "Eli," Sarah said quietly, "if even a fraction of that is true." "I know." I pulled off my surgical gloves, mind racing. "We need to report this to command immediately." Admiral Thorne didn't believe us. Of course he didn't. The old man sat behind his desk on the Vanguard's command level, his weathered face carved from granite. He listened to our report in complete silence, then leaned back in his chair. "Let me understand this correctly," he said slowly. "You want me to divert military resources based on the delusional ravings of an alien machine you found floating in debris?" "Sir, with respect," Sarah began. "The Vorath have been gone for 300 years, Lieutenant. They're ghost stories, propaganda from the last galactic war. Then why does every civilization have the same stories about them?" I challenged. "Different languages, different species, all describing the same threat." Thorne's jaw tightened. "Because fear spreads faster than truth, Doctor. And right now, the last thing we need is panic over ancient boogeyman." "And this Genesis Ark?" Sarah pressed. "You've heard of it?" Something flickered in Thorne's eyes. Recognition. He tried to hide it, but I caught it. "Old spacer tales," he said dismissively. "A weapon supposedly created by a civilization that predated all known history. Pure fantasy." "But you have heard of it." Thorne stood, signaling the conversation was over. I've heard a lot of stories, Lieutenant. Doesn't make them real. You're both dismissed. We didn't move. Sir, I said carefully, what if we're wrong about this being fantasy? What if the cyborg was telling the truth? Then God help us all, Doctor. But I'm not committing ships and personnel to chase fairy tales, not when we have real threats to deal with. So you're just going to ignore this? Thorne's expression hardened. I'm going to file your report and move on. And so are you. Both of you are on medical rotation for the next 72 hours. Stay out of trouble. We left his office in frustrated silence. He's lying, Sarah said once we were in the corridor. He knows something about the Genesis Ark. Definitely. Did you see his face when you mentioned it? So, what do we do? I stopped walking, looked at her. Sarah Vance had pulled me out of 3 combat situations, saved my life twice, and never once backed down from a fight. We'd been partners for 2 years, and I trusted her more than anyone on this ship. We go after it ourselves, I said. Her eyes widened. That's desertion. That's initiative. Eli, they'll court-martial us. Only if we're wrong. If we're right, we'll be heroes. She studied me for a long moment, then a slow smile spread across her face. You've lost your mind. Probably. When do we leave? I felt a rush of relief. Tonight. But first, we need to access the cyborg's memory core. That's in a classified vault. I know. Guarded by military security. I know that too. Sarah's grin widened. This is the dumbest thing we've ever done. Without question. I'm in. Breaking into the classified vault turned out to be easier than expected. Sarah had command-level clearance from her combat operations, and I had medical override codes that technically allowed me to access any biological material for research purposes. The cyborg's memory core sat in a containment field, a crystalline structure that pulsed with faint inner light. How do we extract the data? Sarah asked. I pulled out my medical scanner, modified to interface with synthetic systems. Very carefully, it took 40 minutes of delicate work, but finally the data began to transfer. Star charts, coordinates, fragments of something that looked like ancient text. Got it, I breathed. The first location is the Mirian Expanse. Sarah pulled up the navigation data on her tablet. That's 3 jumps from here. Deep space. Nothing out there but dead stars and radiation. Perfect place to hide something you don't want found. Or perfect place to die looking for something that doesn't exist. Your optimism is inspiring. She laughed quietly. Someone has to balance out your reckless idealism. When do we leave? There's a supply shuttle departing at 0200. If we can slip aboard? Alarms shrieked through the vault. We'd been made. Go! Sarah grabbed my arm, pulling me toward the exit. Behind us, security doors began to seal. We ran, through corridors, down maintenance shafts, Sarah's combat training keeping us one step ahead of security teams. Finally, we burst into the shuttle bay. There! Sarah pointed to a small reconnaissance ship, the Horizon-class scout vessel, fast and stealthy. We sprinted across the deck. Behind us, security forces poured into the bay. Halt! By order of Admiral Thorne. Keep moving! Sarah was already at the ship's hatch, fingers flying across the access panel. Gunfire erupted, not to kill, but to stop. Plasma rounds seared past us. The hatch opened. We dove inside. Get us out of here! I shouted, scrambling toward the cockpit. Sarah was already at the controls, engines roaring to life. Strap in! The ship lurched forward. More plasma fire hammered against our shields. The bay doors ahead were closing. We're not going to make it. Yes, we are. Sarah pushed the throttle to maximum. The ship screamed forward, tilting at a sharp angle, scraping through the narrowing gap with inches to spare. And then we were out, stars spinning around us, the Vanguard's massive bulk receding behind us. "They're launching pursuit ships," I said, checking sensors. "Not for long." Sarah punched in coordinates, her hands steady despite everything. "Hold on!" The jump drive engaged, reality twisted, and we were gone. When normal space reasserted itself, we were alone in the void. No pursuit, no vanguard, just us and the infinite dark. Sarah slumped back in her seat, letting out a shaky breath. "We just deserted. We just saved the galaxy," I corrected. "Potentially. Or doomed our careers chasing a ghost." There's that optimism again. She turned to look at me, and despite everything, she was smiling. "You know what the worst part is?" "What?" "I don't even regret it. Neither did I. And that probably said something deeply concerning about both of us. The Myrian expanse was exactly as advertised. Nothing. Dead stars, radiation storms, and an overwhelming sense of cosmic abandonment. "Sensors aren't picking up anything," Sarah said, frustration creeping into her voice. "Just debris and more debris. The coordinates have to mean something." I pulled up the data we'd extracted. "Look at this pattern." "It's not random scatter, it's deliberate, like breadcrumbs." "Breadcrumbs to where?" "There." I pointed to a cluster of readings. "Gravitational anomaly. Something's distorting space in that region." "You deserted." "Stole classified intelligence. Hijacked a military vessel." He paused. "And you were absolutely right to do it." I blinked. "Sir?" Thorne stood, moving to the viewport where the ancient structure still hung in space. "The Genesis Ark isn't a myth, Doctor. I've known about it for years, and I've spent those years praying we'd never have to find it." "Why?" Sarah asked. "Because using it means we're out of options." "It means the war we thought we'd won is about to start again." He turned back to us. "The Vorath didn't disappear 3 centuries ago. They retreated, rebuilt, and now they're back, stronger than before." "How long have you known?" I demanded. 6 months. Intelligence picked up scattered reports of Vorath scouting parties in the outer sectors. I brought it to the council. They ordered me to keep it quiet." "Why?" "Because panic would tear the Alliance apart faster than any invasion. We needed proof. We needed time." His eyes hardened. "But your cyborg changed that timeline. If the Vorath are actively hunting for the Genesis Ark, it means they know we know. And it means we're running out of time." Sarah stepped forward. "Sir, the structure out there, is that the Ark?" "Part of it. The cyborg's data contains coordinates for 3 locations. Each holds a component. Only when all 3 are united does the weapon activate." "What does it do?" I asked. Thorne's expression darkened. "Something no one should ever have the power to do. It reshapes reality itself, rewrites the fundamental laws of physics in a localized area. In the wrong hands, it could unmake entire star systems. And in the right hands, it could save us all, or doom us just as thoroughly." He moved back to his command chair. "Which is why I'm not ordering you arrested. I'm ordering you to finish what you started." "Sir?" Sarah looked stunned. "You found the first piece. You'll find the other 2. I'm assigning you a full combat team, upgraded ship, and everything you need. But understand this. The Vorath will do anything to stop you, and there are those in our own government who would rather see the Ark destroyed than used. So we trust no one," I said. "You trust each other. And you complete the mission." Thorne's gaze bore into us. "The fate of every living being in this galaxy depends on you succeeding." Don't make me regret this. The new ship was called the Endeavor. Sleek, fast, armed to the teeth. Our team consisted of 12 Marines, 2 engineers, and a pilot named Jackson, who looked like he could fly through a black hole and come out grinning. But the real surprise was waiting in the cargo bay, the cyborg, still damaged but conscious. You saved it, I said to Thorn. He, the cyborg corrected, its voice stronger now. My name is Karen. And yes, the admiral saw fit to preserve my existence. I approached carefully. Can you help us? I can guide you. The coordinates are fragmented across my memory core. Each location will unlock the next. Chiron's eye focused on me. But I must warn you, Doctor. The path to the Ark is protected. Those who created it did not wish it found easily. Protected how? Trials. Tests designed to ensure only the worthy could claim such power. Sarah crossed her arms. Great. So not only do we have the Vorath chasing us, but we have to pass cosmic entrance exams. Essentially, yes. This keeps getting better. The second location took us to the Ethon Cluster, a region of space known for violent spatial storms and gravitational riptides. Navigation was a nightmare. Why would anyone hide something here? Jackson muttered, wrestling with the controls. That's exactly why, Karen said. Only the desperate would venture this far. As we pushed deeper into the cluster, the sensors picked up something massive. A structure, even larger than the first, buried inside an asteroid field. There, I said. That has to be it. We've got a problem, Sarah called from Tactical. Multiple contacts. Vorath ships, at least 20, all converging on that location. They beat us here, Jackson said. Then we go in anyway, I decided. That's suicide. That's the mission. What followed was chaos. Our Marines deployed in boarding craft, racing toward the structure while the Endeavor engaged the Vorath fleet. Explosions lit up the darkness. Ships tore apart. People died. Sarah and I went with the Marines, magnetic boots clanging against the ancient structure's surface. Vorath soldiers were already inside, fighting through automated defenses that had awakened after millennia of sleep. Energy beams cut through armor, bodies fell, the air stank of ozone and death. There. Sarah pointed to a chamber at the structure's heart. The second component sat on a pedestal, glowing with the same ethereal light as the first. But standing between us, and it was a Vorath commander, massive, armored, carrying a weapon that crackled with purple lightning. Our eyes met across the chamber, and I knew, without a doubt, that only one of us was leaving this place alive. The Vorath commander moved first, impossibly fast for something that size. Its weapon discharged, energy tearing through space where I'd been standing a heartbeat before. Sarah returned fire, plasma rounds hammering against its shields. The Marines spread out, trying to flank. I ran for the component, ignoring the battle raging around me. My hand closed around it, just as the Vorath commander broke through our lines, charging straight for me. Sarah threw herself between us. The commander's weapon struck her square in the chest. She flew backward, slamming into the wall, armor smoking. Sarah! Everything went red. I don't remember moving. Don't remember pulling my sidearm. I just remember firing again and again until the commander's shields failed and it collapsed. I reached Sarah. She was still breathing. Barely. Stupid, heroic idiot, I choked out, hands shaking as I tried to assess her injuries. She coughed, blood on her lips. Got the component? Screw the component. Mission first, she whispered. Always mission first. Not this time. Not you. Our medic arrived, injecting her with emergency nanites. She'll live, Doc. But we need to evacuate now. The retreat was a blur. Marines covering our escape, the Endeavor picking us up under heavy fire, space folding as we jumped away. Sarah spent 3 days in medical. 3 days where I didn't sleep, didn't eat, just sat by her bed waiting. When she finally woke, her first words were, "We got it, right?" The component, I wanted to yell at her, wanted to tell her she was insane for caring about the mission more than her own life. Instead, I just took her hand. "Yeah, we got it. Good." She smiled weakly. "One more to go. Sarah, you almost died. But I didn't. We're still in this. Why?" The question burst out of me. "Why are you doing this? We could have walked away, let someone else take the risk." She was quiet for a long moment. Then, "Because someone has to. And because I believe in what we're doing. I believe in you." Something in my chest cracked open. "Sarah, don't." She squeezed my hand. "Just promise me we'll finish this. Together." "Together," I echoed. "Always." The final location was the hardest to reach, deep in uncharted space, at the edge of a dying star. "The readings are off the charts," Jackson reported. "Radiation, gravity waves, spatial distortions. This place is a death trap, which means it's the perfect place for the final component," Karen observed. As we approached, the structure revealed itself. Not ancient this time, but impossibly alien. It seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, hurting the eyes to perceive. "The Vorath?" Sarah asked, back on her feet but still moving carefully. "Not yet," Jackson said, "but they'll come. Then we move fast." Inside the structure, reality itself felt unstable. Gravity shifted randomly. Time seemed to flow at different speeds in different chambers. Our team stayed close, no one wanting to get separated in this madness. And then we found it. The final chamber, the last component. But we weren't alone. Admiral Thorne stood there, not on a view screen, not giving orders from afar, actually present. "Sir?" I said, confused. "How did you—" "I've been here the whole time, Doctor." His voice was different, colder. "Waiting for you to bring me the other pieces." Sarah's weapon came up instantly. "What's going on?" "The truth." Thorne smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "The Genesis Ark isn't just a weapon. It's a doorway, a way to transcend this limited existence and reshape the universe according to our design." "You're insane," I breathed. "I'm visionary." The Vorath understand this. They've been hunting the Ark for the same reason I have, not to destroy, but to evolve. "You're working with them," Sarah said, horror dawning. "You've been working with them this whole time." "Working with them?" "Number. Using them. They're tools, just like you were. Thank you for collecting the components. I'll take them now." Marines appeared behind Thorne. Our Marines, the team we'd trusted. We were surrounded, betrayed. "Why?" I asked. "Why do all this?" "Because the universe is broken, Doctor. Full of suffering, death, chaos. With the Ark, I can fix it, make it perfect. At what cost? Whatever it takes." Sarah's finger tensed on the trigger. "We can't let you have it. You can't stop me." That's when Chiron moved. The cyborg had been silent, seemingly offline. But now it surged forward with the last of its strength, tackling Thorne, buying us seconds. "Run!" Karen shouted. "Complete the mission!" Sarah and I didn't hesitate. We grabbed the final component and ran, Chiron's sacrifice ringing in our ears. Behind us, Thorne's enraged voice echoed, "Find them! They can't escape!" We burst back onto the Endeavor. Jackson was already at the helm, engines screaming to life. "Go!" Sarah shouted. "Go! Go! Go!" The ship launched just as Thorne's forces opened fire. We twisted through the spatial distortions, Jackson's piloting keeping us one step ahead of destruction. "Where to?" he yelled. I looked at the three components, now united. They pulsed with combined energy, and suddenly I understood what they were, what they could do. "Back to Earth," I said. "We end this where it began." "Eli," Sarah said quietly, "what are you planning?" I met her eyes. Something I should have done from the start. Something that goes against every order, every rule, every protocol. Which is, I'm going to destroy the Genesis Ark and make sure no one can ever use it again. The journey back to Earth took 3 days. 3 days where Sarah and I barely spoke, both of us processing what we were about to do. "You know Thorn will come after us," she said finally. "I know. And the Vorath. Them too. We'll be fugitives forever. Probably." She moved closer, standing beside me at the viewport. "I'm with you. Whatever happens." I turned to her, really looked at her. Sarah Vance, who'd saved my life more times than I could count, who'd followed me into hell and back without hesitation, who believed in something bigger than orders or duty. "I love you," I said. The words came out before I could stop them. She blinked. "What?" "I love you. Have for a while now, and if we're about to commit cosmic treason, I figured you should know." Sarah stared at me for a long moment. Then she grabbed my collar and kissed me. Hard, desperate, real. When we broke apart, she was smiling. "Took you long enough. Was I that obvious?" "Completely." She kissed me again, softer this time. "I love you too, you brilliant idiot. Even though I'm about to destroy the most powerful weapon in the universe. Especially because of that." Earth orbit was chaos when we arrived. The Vorath fleet had found us. Thorn's ships blockaded our approach. The entire human defense force was mobilized. "You can't land," Jackson said. "They'll blow us out of the sky." "Then we don't land. We activate the Ark here." Sarah's eyes widened. "Eli, if you do that, the blast could take out the entire system." "Not if I calibrate it correctly. The Ark doesn't have to destroy. It can also create." "Create what?" "A barrier. Something that will seal this weapon away forever, in a pocket dimension no one can access. And if you're wrong, then we all die. But at least no one gets to play God." I began the activation sequence, the three components merging, their combined energy threatening to tear reality apart. "Contact!" Jackson shouted. "Vorath ships and Thorn's fleet, both firing. Hold them off as long as you can." Sarah moved to the weapons console. "This is going to get messy." The Endeavor shook under sustained fire, shields dropping, hull breaches, but I kept working, fingers flying across the controls. The components were singing now, harmonizing, power building to critical. "Eli, whatever you're going to do it now." Almost there. The Vorath flagship broke through our defenses, weapon systems locked on us. "Incoming!" Jackson screamed. I pressed the final sequence. The Genesis Ark exploded, but not in destruction, in creation. A bubble of twisted space-time expanded from our ship, swallowing the Ark components, sealing them away in a dimension that existed between heartbeats. The energy wave rippled outward, harmless but unstoppable. When it reached the Vorath ships, they simply stopped, frozen in time. Not dead, but unable to move forward or back. The same happened to Thorn's fleet. And then the wave dissipated, leaving us floating in sudden, profound silence. "What?" Sarah breathed. "What did you do?" I sealed it away. The Ark, Thorn's ambition, the Vorath threat, all of it locked in temporal stasis until the universe itself ends. Jackson let out a shaky laugh. You just put the most dangerous weapon ever created in cosmic timeout. Essentially, yes. That's either genius or insane. Probably both. Sarah took my hand. What happens now? I looked out at the frozen fleets, at Earth hanging blue and beautiful below us. Now we face the consequences. Court-martial, probably. Prison, definitely. Was it worth it? I squeezed her hand. Every second. The court-martial lasted 6 weeks. They charged us with desertion, theft, unauthorized use of military assets, and about 40 other violations. We pled guilty to everything. The military court was harsh, dishonorable discharge, prison sentences. But the civilian population, they saw something different. 2 people who'd saved the galaxy by refusing to let anyone, human or alien, claim ultimate power. Protests erupted, calls for pardon. Public opinion shifted. In the end, the council commuted our sentences. We'd serve no time, but we were banned from military service forever. Not the worst outcome, Sarah said as we walked out of the courthouse into the sunlight. Could have been executed. There's that optimism I love. We stood there, 2 former soldiers with no rank, no career, no plan. So, I said, what now? Sarah looked at me, eyes bright. Now? Now we figure out how to be normal. We were never normal. Then we'll be gloriously abnormal together. I pulled her close. I can live with that. Somewhere in frozen space-time, the Genesis Ark waited, would wait forever. A testament to what happens when power meets wisdom. We'd been given the keys to reshape reality, and we'd chosen to throw them away. Some would call that foolish. Others would call it noble. We just called it human, because in the end, that's what we were. Flawed, reckless, brilliant, foolish humans who'd faced the impossible and survived. And that was enough. The dying cyborg's hand grabbed my wrist with enough force to crack bone. Its single, organic eye locked onto mine, and 3 words escaped its shattered throat that would haunt me forever. They are coming. My name is Dr. Eli Cross. 24 hours ago, I was just another medic aboard the Earth Defense Carrier Vanguard, patching up soldiers and filing reports. Now I'm holding coordinates to a weapon that could either save civilization or end it. And I have absolutely no idea which one it's going to be. The medical ward stank of burnt circuits and alien blood. The creature on my operating table was barely alive, its chrome skeleton fractured like shattered glass, organic tissue melding with metal in ways that defied everything I knew about biology. Vitals dropping fast, Lieutenant Sarah Vance called from the monitors. She was the one who'd pulled this thing from the wreckage, disobeying 3 direct orders to leave it behind. Whatever you're doing, do it faster. I'm working blind here. My laser scalpel trembled. This physiology doesn't match anything in our database. Half its organs are synthetic, the other half I can't even identify. The cyborg convulsed, its mouth opened, sounds spilling out that my translator couldn't parse. Sarah moved closer, her sharp features tight with concentration. Boost the translation matrix. Something's trying to break through. I adjusted the settings. The cyborg's voice emerged, distorted but intelligible. Warn your